All right, good morning, everyone. Let's get going here. Okay. Um, all right. U.S. markets had a seriously tight range on Friday. On the back of its first real sell-off in quite some time, the prior day. You can see there, I mean, it looks like it actually moved, but that's only because that range is about a 3-point range. Most sectors were actually down. Industrials and information technology were up slightly. But I think the big focus going into this week is going to be Wednesday and Thursday's meeting. Um, we've got the Fed meetings at in Jackson Hole on Thursday, and then I believe there's another meeting on Wednesday as well. So I think we're going to be kind of paying attention to that going into the entire week, considering what's going on with U.S. Treasuries at the moment, and people really kind of expecting tapering to either happen next month or very soon thereafter. Asia had a bit of a mixed session. We saw Japan, Australia, Hong Kong up a touch. Everything else was slightly down, really just mixed and very light movement, just as we saw in the States as well. We had Japanese exports has jumped the most since 2010. Which I think were driven in part by a weaker Japanese yen, and then we're also seeing gold that's made a huge move over the last couple sessions, and really after our close on Friday, very little follow through. In fact, in the States, even with that move in the gold price, but I think something that we've got to watch. I mean, one of the things that I think is the most incredible about what we're seeing right now is interest rates going higher, and also seeing commodities go higher at the same time. It's really quite a surprising event to see. Okay, today we got no corporate action in terms of earnings today, but we've got two stocks going ex-div. That's British American Tobacco and Mondi, both ex-div this morning. We've also got a slew of earnings out this week. We've got ShopRite, Billiton, Imperial, Goldfields, Trueworths, Massmart, and Exaro. So I think this is going to be obviously there's going to be a lot to pay attention to. Pretty much all of those. I mean, the bulk of those are coming out on Wednesday. We do have on Thursday. We have a couple of them coming out on Tuesday, and then like I said, Imperial on Wednesday. And I think maybe even Woolies is this week. All right, we've got Japanese trade balance this morning. We talked about that a second ago. In fact, we talked about the export numbers. Also, their imports, which were quite a good beat. Trade balance was a bit lighter than expected, and then we had the leading index there, which was a touch better, but no data elsewhere in the world today. So I think we're really going to be kind of floating on what the expectations are going to be coming into the Fed meetings later this week. All right, let's jump into the maps. Okay, first thing I wanted to focus on this morning is the copper price. Sorry, we're a little bit too long a timeline there, too short a timeline. You can really see here, what I was looking to show is how we kind of came up into resistance as of Friday on the copper price. Around around $3.38. You can really see there that was it's quite a significant resistance, and actually kind of touches all the way back here. I mean, we could pop this out a little bit further and have a look at what that looks like, but there's a touch down here as well on this chart. So I would really expect that could be the end of the rally for the near term. That's going to be a level to watch. I mean, if we get above that, I really think you're going to end up seeing a major short squeeze in a lot of these miners, which I think we're already seeing at the moment. But this is a big level here at 338. If we get above that, I really would expect to see further upside in some of the shares. I mean, most of this major rally that we've seen from the first real green bar where we broke out there and to the following days, I think this first green bar was probably coincided with a big move that we saw on Friday a week and a half ago, and then the following was the push up that we saw in these miners. So there's been a real correlation in the last several sessions with the copper price and a lot of the mining stocks. So I think we need to pay attention to copper quite closely over the next few sessions. All right. Let's have a look at Anglos real quick. I want to show Anglos on the shorter term chart. So you can see here on a 30-day, we're really set up potentially, for a continuation pattern. We would need to see a close above, call it 240 and a half, which is really where we closed on Friday. We see a close above that, then I would say that we could have a move of, let's see, this would be about $8 to the upside, which would take us up to around 248. So watch Anglos closely. I mean, these things have had a huge move already. I think it's a little bit of a dangerous trade, but putting it on with a tight stop might not be a bad idea. All right, NASFERs. NASFER, same sort of thing. We'll look at this on a 30-minute chart. We talked about this already. 45 was a major level. You don't often see something like this where you see such a hectic breakdown, intraday with a close down here around the bottom, and then the next day you open up and you never test that downside again. This is quite an impressive chart. I'm really not sure how I would draw this, if I would take it from this 800 level, which we know is a major level down here, or if I would actually just try to draw it from really where the consolidation in the previous breakout was, which is around 830. So I'd say, if we take it from 830, then we would have reached our price target already, which is the close at 860 and a half, or 860.88 from Friday. If you take it from the bottom here, then obviously the target would be closer to 890. So either way, I mean, I think this stock has shown us that it's not really to be shorted almost ever, even when Tencent has earnings miss, and that you got to really be careful to get on the wrong side of this thing, how quickly it can move, even for one of the bigger shares on the index. All right, Impalas. Well, let's jump into the 1 year here real quick. I wanted to show here, we talked about this a couple sessions ago, I think when we were down around 107, that 115 was really going to be our target in the near term. We got there on Friday on the back of really what was, I thought, a weak trading statement out of Impalas. It first ripped down and quite violently, and then really just made a huge reversal on decent volume. So that near-term target's reached. I mean, this thing's really, it's still actually lagged, I think, Amplats, and I would say that the next target would be sort of up here around 132 Rand, if I was to try to pick anything. So just watch this closely. I mean, if we break through 115, I think this does have more significant room to the upside, and really you can see here, if you have a look at the fibs from the top end of this move down to the bottom, very clearly, easily measurable. You can see there, I mean, we were only about 30% of the retracement from this fall, whereas you look at Amplats and you run that same fib retracement number, you're looking at, we're all the way up to about a 55% retracement already at those levels. So that just shows you how much more of a bounce that we've seen out of Amplats relative to Impala. So I think that Impala's popping its head up to 132 could be quite likely, actually, if we can get above 115 in the near term. All right, so let's have a look at Foschini. Foschini had a big move on Friday on the back of their the fact that they, I'm putting the wrong line in here. And the fact that they may have, or they have a deal potentially on the table to sell part of their credit unit. You can see there 103, very, very defined level. I mean, I really like the look of this level. We closed at 101 and a half basically on Friday. If we can get above 103, I really think that we can very quickly make a pop of close to 10 Rand to the upside. Which would take us up all the way to here. We're kind of toward the top end of what was this consolidation range before we broke down. So just keep that in mind. I think that this is going to be one of the bigger trades in the retail space. I think if we can pop our head above 103, I really think it's got plenty of room to the upside. And you can see, I mean, we came all the way from 150 only back at the end of last year. So let's keep an eye on this level. 103 breaks. I think we got to be playing alongside there in Foschini. All right, and the last one I'm going to show is Apache Group on the New York Stock Exchange, and we've really dropped out of support as of the close on Friday. below 80 bucks. Sorry, I don't know what I just did there. Below 80 bucks, you can see there making a nice little kind of broke below this flag pattern. At 80, I would say that we've got at least $4 or $5 downside from here. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot.